Hi everyone, it's Joe here from Lawn Solutions Australia and welcome to this episode of Turf Talk where we're live at the Australian Sports Turf Managers Association, so you may hear a little bit of background noise on this episode, but today we're joined by Tim Warren, and Tim is the Superintendent at Glenelg Golf Club in South Australia and one of the most respected turf managers in the country. With nearly 3 decades in the industry, Tim has built a reputation for delivering exceptional playing surfaces while championing innovation, sustainability and environmental stewardship. Since joining Glenelg in 2018, he's helped oversee major course improvements and environmental initiatives that have earned national recognition, including the ASTMA Excellence in Golf Course Management Award. In this episode, we'll dive into Tim's journey through the turf industry, what it takes to manage one of Australia's premier golf courses, and his thoughts on the future of turf management. Quite the intro, Tim. Welcome.
Thanks, Joe.
It's always nice to sit there and listen to an intro.
It makes you feel,
yourself.
you know what it does? It makes you feel old.
That wasn't my intention, but it always seems to come across that way.
Yeah, it makes me feel old.
Speaking of age and time in the industry, you've obviously been in the industry for quite a long time, but how did you get into turf? What was it that really kicked the interest off for you?
Pretty simple. It was probably a love of sport.
Yeah. Just
love sport. Love playing footy in the winter. Australian rules footy in the winter. And
you a South Australian boy growing up?
No, I was Victorian.
Okay.
Yeah. So cricket in the summer, and that was as a kid back in the 90s. That's all you did.
Yeah.
But I loved anything on telly that was played on turf. Whether it was tennis, lawn tennis, Wimbledon, golf when they used to have the Masters at Huntingdale, and the Channel 7 used to do all the golf coverage back in the day, and so anything with turf I usually have an interest to. So it's been a long career when you reflect on it, but that's how I got into it.
It's such a common theme with turf managers is their love of sport, is their introduction to it. And when you were playing sport when you were younger, footy in the winter, cricket in the summer, as a lot of Victorian kids do. Was it more the fact that you wanted to be outdoors, or was there actually a direct interest in grass when you were playing sport?
I think my background, I grew up on a dairy farm, and I always enjoyed sort of working outside, and Dad's had a long history in agriculture. I mean, he started and varied career, I suppose, in ag. Like, he started in Gippsland, where I was born. I was actually born in Orbost, and he was on the Snowy River Flats there, growing vegetables. That's how he started. A 70-acre block there on the Snowy River Flats and growing veggies, and that's how he started in ag, and then dairy farming for 16 years, and now he's on mixed cropping and with a couple other brothers, and so
it's still going.
He's still.
Great.
Oh well, he's just annoying my brothers now. So he's in his mid 70s.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's why I enjoyed working outdoors and enjoying the aesthetics of working outdoors.
Yeah.
So so that was probably the primary draw to the industry.
Well, with an ag background and a love of sports, it's kind of a nice little channel to funnel your way into. So you leave school early and jump into a trade sort of straight away?
Yeah, I left school at the end of year 11. I mean, whether I just deliberately left the re-enrolment form in the bottom of the school bag and didn't re-enroll for year 12, I don't know. But
the correct answer is you'd learn everything.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure whether I wanted to do year 12, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I mean, it was either that or Mum's a school teacher by trade, and that sort of interested me a little bit. But it was just a draw to working outdoors that led me to sort of leave school at end of year 11 when I was 17, and immediately I didn't have a job. I started working the school holidays. Summertime I used to ride my bike into town and help out one of my mates. Dad, he was volunteered at the local bowling club.
Okay.
So I used to go in there and roll the greens and rake the ditches, and that's when I helped the old boys in there. It was great. And then I did a pre-apprenticeship back in the day. They call it certificate of education. So it was the old Cert 2, and I rolled in a Cert 2 course down at the old Northern Metropolitan Institute at TAFE in Melbourne, here down in Parkville. So that was a 6-month course. So I ride in that and commenced that. And while I was doing that, I was successful at gaining an apprenticeship at Yarrawonga and Border Golf Club.
Yeah.
That's where I started my career.
So how far was that from home?
I was only an hour from home, which was ideal. All those river clubs along there, but Yarra was probably the premium river club along there. 45 holes of golf, and it was great. That time I was there, we converted the Murray course across from Cool Seasons fairways.
Big change.
Yeah, it was a massive change and a lot of irrigation change at the time and that's the thing. So it was a good time to do an apprenticeship.
Is that purely from a water management perspective?
Yeah. I mean, the amount of water they were pumping on the 45 holes, it was all Cool Seasons back then. I mean, lucky we didn't empty Lake Mulwala each year. I mean, it was unbelievable how much water we're pumping out. And the quality of surface is that by the end of summer, a long, hot Northern Victoria summer, trying to look after bink, poa, ryegrass, fairways. I mean, they looked awesome in springtime.
Yeah.
But come mid-January, they were no good.
You'd get sick of irrigating on it.
Oh, look, you'd just spend hours on an old postie bite back in the day. Back in the day before WHS, and you're hooking around the golf course on a postie bite with no helmet on, and that sort of thing. Shifting sprinklers and that sort of thing. I mean,
have you been back to Yarrawonga lately?
Oh yeah, not lately. I tell a lie. We went to the VGCSA country meeting last year.
Yeah.
That's probably only second, maybe third time back in 30 years. So
it's quite a popular place for people from our area to go on golf tours to. The
it's
5-day
great.
golf tour.
Oh, it's
they
great.
love it. Yeah.
Well, there you got Black Bull across on the Vic side, and there's the golf courses in the proximity along the river. Like whether you want to go up towards Echuca and Moama and Rich River, and the other way, or you got Cobram Barooga as well, and the courses around. And the clubs around Albury, Wodonga too. So the quality, there's some good quality golf up there.
So did you stay there for the duration of your apprenticeship, did you?
I finished, a tad early. I finished probably about 3.5 years in. I mean, young 21-year-old thought I knew everything at the time and I was going to go off and conquer the world and be a golf course superintendent one day. It's probably worked out now, but at the time for a long time we battled away. But went off to a little course out in the southeast of South Australia, a little one-man show, Penola, that probably more famous for its neighbour Coonawarra, the wine-growing region. And
so you're still an apprentice?
Yeah, I got early release. I got signed off early and then, took a job down there looking after this little 18-hole golf club by myself with some volunteers, of course. Had a few farmers around and guys out of the town come in and cut
real country course.
It was real country golf course.
So is that to test yourself, or what sort of made you want to?
Oh, look, I said I thought I knew everything. Young and dumb. Just went off and thought I knew everything, and soon worked out the first 18 months. I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew bits and pieces, but I mean, I'd never seen. I mean, we come from hot, hot temperate climate in northern Victoria to a fairly moist, high rainfall. Really, like come April through to October, misty rain. Very cold and very high rainfall.
Warm season grass.
We had fairways for a mix of common cooch. Kaikuya.
Whatever would grow.
Whatever it'd go. Typical country golf course, and greens were poa. Basically, probably predominantly poa, a little bit of Benton, and that was probably I hadn't seen anything, my first experience. And, I think in the first summer, I reckon I lost 9 greens through disease. I didn't know what I was doing. Honestly, I can look back on it now. But it was a great learning curve, and I must have been doing something right. So I was there for about 18 months, and then a job down the road popped up at Millicent Golf Club. Now, Millicent was a really good track, rated 80th in Australia at that time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Great track. Had an apprentice working there in a casual 3-day a week, and the super there left, and then I got a sort of a encouragement from one of the committee guys that played golf where I was over at Penola regularly, and he said he encouraged me to put in for the job. So
you must have done a reasonable job then.
Yeah, so I ended up getting the job and had a couple of years there at Millicent, probably 2.5 years at Millicent.
You wouldn't have known yourself with some help either.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And we had that good water quality. They were all probably bent grass, cool season fairways with a good undergrowth of cooch, common cooch. So we set about actually promoting the common cooch by some sort of light rates of glyphosate and just knocking it out and promoting the cooch to come through. And we had that place looking pretty good. But while I was there, that was in the early 2000s. While I was there, I met my wife, who was living in Mount Gambier at the time. And after 2.5 years, the job at Mount Gambier popped up. And Kate, being from Mount Gambier, thought, well, let's make a move and to the big smoke of Mount Gambier.
Yeah, compared to where you've been.
Had 3 years then at Mount Gambier.
So are we talking early 2000s?
Yeah, probably 2001, 2002. Yeah. Golf was really struggling at that time, and some of Mount Gambier Golf Club was struggling as well.
A lot of people that are new into golf now probably don't realise that wasn't always like it is now.
No, we were real battling, and Mount Gambier, in the space of my first moving to the southeast of South Australia in 1997 and by the time I got to Mount Gambier in late 2001, 2002, they'd gone from 900 members and having a wait list to barely having 2 cents to rub together.
Yeah, right.
And I had, what do I have there? I had a mechanic, full-time mechanic, and another guy that had been there for 40 years. And, I mean, they couldn't afford to carry these guys anymore. And they'd gone from 5 years ago, having 5, 6 years prior to me being there, having a staff of 7 or 8 to a staff of 3. And then we had to make some hard decisions. As a young fella, that was had to make a decision to put a couple of guys off there and change the whole staffing structure so we could get some numbers. So we ran with apprentices, and then we got rid of a lot of the old machinery that realistically having a mechanic there was actually keeping this rubbish going. So we started leasing equipment and took the club to another direction. But it was a real battle there. But look, we had a crack.
You feel like you made some good progress?
Oh yeah. We started converting the it was all manual irrigation, all QCV valves, plug-in sprinklers sort of thing. A lot of high maintenance, high manual labour, and we thought, well, the better way to go would maybe convert the fairways to a warm seasons grass. So we started making the conversion process.
Well, you had some experience in that as well.
Yeah, did that. So probably did 3 or 4 fairways, and then left Mount Gambier. Yeah.
So at Mount Gambier, you're spraying cool season out and just sprig planting fairways straight over the top.
we were sprigging fairways, spraying them out, spreading the stylons, and then just rotating them in, and then leaving the surface. That was probably the most economical way where we could do it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, we had some good results, but I only got to convert. I think it might have been about 4 fairways that I converted before we decided to make go for another job, another position. So we left Mount Gambier, Kate and I, and we'd had Sophie, our first, by then. We left and we moved to Horsham. Horsham in 2005.
Yeah. To Horsham Golf Club?
Yep, Horsham Golf Club, yeah. So it worked out really well for us. We felt that Kate's parents were in Mount Gambier. Yeah. My parents sort of up around Chuka, Shepparton, up that way, sort of geographically halfway.
Yeah,
so
it's not a bad spot.
So start bringing up kids there. And we had our second that first year in Horsham, had James. We had 2 kids under 2 at the time.
Yeah, you're a busy man.
I was one income and that sort of thing. It was a bit of a challenge. We're going to Country Golf Club, but I really enjoyed our time at Horsham. Made some really good friends there. The club was good reputation, solid reputation.
But challenging climates. All of these climates you've worked in are quite similar in a way, where they're, hot and dry in summer and quite cold in winter. So. How did you go managing warm season, cool season grass?
Each has its own challenges. Or in like Mount Gambier, very wet winters.
Yeah.
They're 38, 40-inch rainfall sort of thing in the old language. So we'd have a lot of issues through winter. Yeah, especially when we started trying to convert things over to Cooch and not getting full coverage. Then you go to Horsham, where you've got to these hot, dry summers and then really extremely cold winters.
Yeah, bitterly cold there, isn't it?
Super frost there. And when we moved there, we were going through the millennium drought at the time, so 13 odd years of drought. And
it was just killing cool season grass off.
Oh, look, and water quality, we were on recycled. We ended up being fully on recycled water because they'd stopped the old irrigation channel runs because they decommissioned the irrigation channel system up there around Horsham, so it all went to pipe, and so then we didn't have access to piped water, so we went all over to treated effluent, and the quality through when you're on stage 5 water restrictions, the quality coming through was questionable.
Yeah, sure.
You could almost, I think, walk across our irrigation dams. It was putrid, but that's all we had. The only thing good about our water is wet, and that was about it. So that was challenging.
Yeah.
But we made some huge grants there. They had the water grants, government water grants. So each year we're successful in getting $50,000 each year, which we matched, and we spent over $300,000 in 4 years.
That's just keeping the place alive, more or less.
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
know. We upgrade put new pump systems in, new control systems in, converted. I mean, we had this really dodgy homemade sort of system where it was on a domestic irrigation controller. Greens and teas were on one domestic.
Yeah, right.
9 stations would cover the whole golf course, so a tee and green would come on at the same time. So the first green, second tee would come on, and 9th green, first tee. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And same with the fairways. So, we converted across to a Toro Dakota system, and really made some inways. The biggest thing at Horsham at the time there was would have been 09, I reckon it was. Yeah, 09. We had the Black Saturday bushfires.
Of course, yeah.
And that basically went through the place.
So that damaged the golf course.
Yeah. We lost all our mowing equipment. We had 2 sheds. We lost 1 shed. The clubhouse was gone. We had significant damage to the course. 90% of the trees that we had to clear. And realistically, I mean, we did an amazing job. I mean, I had 4 of the most incredible blokes working for me at the time, who've all done their bit in the industry as well. And
what's it like coming in the day after it's all said and done and having a look? Like,
emotional,
what's that do to you?
Very emotional.
I can imagine.
Yeah, a lot of work just gone down the drain, and you think, geez, you're going to have to start again.
The grass itself?
Oh, we had a lot of damage to greens,
Yeah.
a lot of damage to fairways where the fire would be burning into the couch fairways and that sort of thing. So, it was devastating, really. But look, like I said, had 3-4 real good blokes working for me, and the testament to the guys. I mean, we used to do manual timesheets each week, and you get there and I go, boys, you've got to fill your timesheet in, and they just go, 8.
Yeah.
You knew they were doing probably 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to see the place back up and going. I mean, it's...
and what's your timeline from walking in and seeing a mess to hitting golf balls on it again?
7 weeks we got it back.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. With a lot of help through the industry. The industry really supported us really well. Toro at the time got us gear, second-hand gear, and whatever we could get our hands on. The VGCSA were great. Nathan Bennett, who's super at the Royal Adelaide now, was at Torquay Sands. He organised a busload of greenkeepers from Melbourne and around the Bellarine Peninsula to come up for a couple of days. And it was amazing. We had 25 staff running around the place, looked like Royal Melbourne. It was unbelievable.
You got to find something for them all to do then.
No, we had plenty for them to do. But it was just great support from the industry and colleagues. And out of that, I've met some great people. That was my first meeting of Adam Marchant from Royal Sydney. He was a foreman at the time. Him and
speaking at a conference today.
Him and 3 other blokes jumped in the car. I remember John Odell, who was the superintendent at the time. He rang me up one day and said, Tim, it's John Odell. How long do you reckon it's going to take a group of blokes to drive down from Sydney to Horsham? I said, it's probably going to be 13 hours, 14 hours. All right, I'll get back to you. He rang me up the next day. Yep, they're in. They'll be down next week. I'll organise some accommodation. Where do you want them to stay? And I think we put them up in a pub somewhere, and they stayed for the week, I reckon. Yeah, no, it was good. So, and that's why I've still got today have a really good friendship with Adam and that thing. So I've made some great friends.
It's incredible what this industry can do for one another, isn't it?
And that's what one of the things about our industry. That's why it's so great.
Yeah, it's the same in turf production. There was a big turf farm on the mid-north coast in South Wales that got damaged by floods, and the amount of help from within the industry that can sort of galvanise together.
Yeah. And that's, like I kept saying, that's what makes our industry what it is. The relationships you form across over the years, sort of thing. Yeah.
And it's so good. I know you mentioned some names there, like Adam, and to see everyone coming back now and talking at these things and trying to give back to the younger guys. That's why shows like this are so good. Giving people access to yourself.
It's funny when you talk about that. Like you feel that I see a lot of the young guys that walk around the conference floor and that sort of thing, and they come up to you and have a chat to you and that sort of thing, and you think, I make and I'll put myself on a pedestal and whatever, but I really try and make an effort to give these young fellas the time of day, because I remember when I was that shy bloke walking around the conference, the trade show floor, not knowing anyone and that sort of thing, and they get a bit of a kick about seeing that if you can pass on some, I suppose, some knowledge and experience and that sort of thing. I mean, it's great. That's what I get a kick out of the industry as well, seeing some of these good young enthusiastic guys come through, especially the graduates and that sort of thing. Yeah,
it's great. It's great. So Horsham to Glenelg, then was it? Was that?
Yeah, no. So look, from Horsham, I mean, no, the club wasn't really getting back on their feet. Yeah. And that's the trouble when you've got a committee there, just well-meaning volunteers, and not really. And I took an attitude. My family's future's on the line here, and it's in your hands here. And I could see that they were making some pretty questionable decisions in terms of their business model and what they wanted to do with rebuilding the clubhouse and that sort of thing. And started butting heads with the general manager and committee and that sort of thing. And I could see that, it wasn't going to be a long relationship.
Yeah, sure.
And we went for a few jobs and that sort of thing, but there wasn't not too much on offer, and whether I had to make a sideward step or go backwards or whatever. But a job come up in Adelaide at Adelaide Shores at the time. It's West Beach Parks, or the Pat now. I mean, they've had so many different names.
Yeah.
But basically it's a public golf facility on the western suburbs of Adelaide, right on the beach, right at the airport there. So job come up there, put in for it, and state government sort of authority. And, I mean, it probably wasn't ideal, if it was ideal at the time, but it was the only thing at the time. I've got to get it. I can't stay here.
So how old are your kids at this point? Like, are they?
They're at school by then.
Yeah.
Soph would have been in maybe year 2 or something like
that.
Okay. Yeah. James would have been in prep or reception, as they say.
It's a bit of a move for you, though.
Oh, yeah. Massive move. It wasn't made lightly, but we said no, we can't. This is not going to work long term for us. So we moved to Adelaide.
Was this going to a course that had a bit more of a budget and a bit more staff and that sort of stuff?
36 holes.
Yeah.
Had 7 staff.
Yep.
They weren't real big on giving us much resource to manage 36 holes. We're the busiest public access golf course in South Australia at the time, and we didn't have too much resource there.
Okay.
But
you're used to doing a lot with very little.
I remember there's some days there you walk in and you'd have one guy looking at you and you go, still got to cut the North Course greens. Like, seriously, you want to try and catch up with a rep, or being a highly regulated government department. Like, the big focus was me being in WHS meetings rather than if it was 45 degrees out, hand water and greens. That's where I'd much rather
where you
be.
need to be.
That's where it was going to, the tension was going to meet, and that it was never going to be a long-term thing at Adelaide Shores. But I got out of it. What I got out of it was I got jumped from being a country golf course superintendent, where 90% of the time you're on the tools and 10% of the time that you're doing admin. That probably changed a little bit beforehand with the fire at Horsham, because I had to start, that changed my role, where I was starting to do grant applications and trying to get money for the club and doing all sorts of it. We're going through a lawsuit. The club were trying to go into class action with the power company to try and get some money out of the compensation out of the fire. So that's where my job started to change. And when I went to Adelaide Shores, it just went to the next level of bureaucracy, I suppose.
It's an interesting point. I want to dive into a little bit before we talk about Glenelg, and that's with trade courses now. With sports turf, for example, we learn a lot about grass, we learn a lot about maintenance, fertility practices, and that sort of stuff. But it's that whole other side of it where I feel a lot of people, it takes a long time to learn the bureaucracy and the politics of it, if you want to put it that way.
Right. I think there's not enough made of that. And hopefully with the ASTMA sort of FTMI program that can help instill some of these that training into these guys coming through, the diploma and that sort of thing. But realistically, a lot of times, and as you know, you get into these positions because you're good at your job. And what are you good at? You're good at growing grass.
Growing grass, yeah.
But you're not, and you actually get thrust into that leadership.
Yeah.
Based on non-leadership activities, actually growing grass.
Yeah.
So that's where I got a lot out of working at Adelaide Shores. I did a frontline management. They put you through frontline management. I did a diploma in management. Got all that training that today I still use, and I still try and look at development. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean,
a good way,
and that's across all trades and all industries.
It's the same thing. It's a good way to look at it, I feel, is you've got to work on and not in.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
and for someone like yourself who's had the background that you've had, where you've obviously had to be very hands-on, work big hours, big days, to be able to direct other people to do that when obviously all you want to do is go out and do it yourself, probably could be a little bit of a challenge you'd have to overcome.
It is. It's something that's something that I probably have only recently sort of trying to get my head around.
Yeah.
Because even like with our project that we did at Glenelg, like quite often I'm sitting on an excavator or I'm doing something, and they're big long days. But it's like I said in my presentation that I did this morning. I mean, I don't see any other option how we could have done it differently, and that's I think why we might have the club might have avoided taking something like this on, because they didn't have someone as mad as me.
It helps sometimes.
That wanted to get on and just get into it. And I suppose, like I said, when we took on the project, we were probably a little bit naive on the complexities of it, but we've learned a hell of a lot along the way. But yeah, it is right. And we're going through that at the moment. I've got myself a really good management team now at Glenelg. I suppose out of necessity when I first started there, I was having to be on the tools because I had a staff there that had been fairly settled and been there for a while, and all of a sudden there's a new guy come in and shaking things up a bit and wanting to raise the standard and that sort of thing. And so sometimes you just got to get in the trenches and lead by example.
It's always a measure of a leader or someone in your position is what happens when I'm not there. How well have I drilled the team to be able to run things when I'm not there? And
look, I've been over here in Melbourne now for nearly 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And no worries whatsoever.
Yeah.
So you just know that standards there, you know that consistency's there, the message is the same, everyone knows their role. It's hard work getting a team like that, especially with our labour crisis. It's probably a crisis, so it's a labour skill shortage in that. I'm blessed to have the guys that I've got. So Adam, Susanna, Kingsley, McConaughey, who come over. He's a New Zealander, come over from the Aussie. He was working at the Australian Golf Club for 3 years under Phil Bill, and Dan Cook, and then come over and we promoted him to foreman, and office admin Lauren, who's on staff, and irrigation mechanic Timmy Cowan. I mean, they're all play their role and they do it well.
But it's a credit to leadership to be able to step away and have the team you've set up and put together be able to run.
Look, and I think it's probably for me, it's happened in the last 2 years where I've tried to now that I've got that good support team around me, is do something a little bit differently in terms of, I try and catch up with the guys quarterly. It works out quarterly. I'm usually catching up with one or two guys a week, sit down, let them drive the conversation, but then talk about accountability and talk about standards and where they sit and how they're performing and that sort of thing. So yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the course itself. Glenelg's quite well known. It's quite a prestigious golf course, top 100.
Yeah, I mean we're ranked, and there's always subjective the rankings, but we're ranked 29 Golf Digest.
Wow. Yeah.
Golf Digest.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about it. What's the attraction to it? Why do people like playing golf there?
I mean, look, we're a fairly down to earth high end golf club, if that's a term.
No, it makes sense.
Very, very good culture in terms of social culture at Glenelg. High member round. I mean, we do between 60, 70,000 rounds of golf. It's a busy golf course, but we've got a point of difference in our design. We're not a overly long golf course. We've got a unique design features in our revetted bunkers, and some of the design features that we've introduced since, I suppose, the course enhancement completion with the sleeper walls and retaining walls and the quirkiness about some different green complexes we've got and that sort of thing. We don't want to be that cookie cutter. Righto, we want to model ourselves on a Royal Adelaide or a Kionga or Grange. We want to have that point of difference, and we have. We're quite a tight course, quite challenging off the tee, and that's what we, I suppose, that the attraction is there.
So over the last how long's the renovation or the reconstruction been going for?
Yeah, we started in November of 21.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was the genesis behind or the need to reconstruct or renovate?
Look, I think infrastructure, and I think the premise is it's probably infrastructure and maintenance, and some of the cash were probably burning in terms of maintenance-wise. The revetted bunkers, we had natural turf revetted bunkers, and they only have a lifespan of 4 to 5 years, and we had 93 of them. So that sort of figures, you're having to rebuild 20 bunkers a year. We just don't have the time. Irrigation was a big one. We had some areas of the golf course, irrigation systems 40, 45-year-old. So we were spending probably, with labour and parts and time, we were probably spending over $100,000 a year just on irrigation. I mean, we would have an irrigation blowout, probably 1 to 2 irrigation blowouts a week. In summer. So we were just. My analogy was we might as well just have a 44-gallon drum out the front of the lunchroom and just throw $50 notes in and just burn them, because that's all we were doing right across the board, with bunkers, with infrastructure, everything. We're just chewing money. So we started with it went to the membership on the basis of irrigation, and then it evolved. Well, if we're going to rip the place up, we may as well look at all the other issues that we have. The quality of our green surfaces, are they where we want them to be? Bunkering, what's that look like going forward? Turf surfaces, architectural features, traffic flow. We may as well just do the lot, have a baseline to work off, and go from there.
So how do you sell this concept to the club, to the board?
We did a lot of trial work and put a lot of trials in place beforehand. So irrigation product trial went out on the range in my first summer. And then we built a practice green and on the practice fairway, and we had 7 different varieties of bent grass trialled as we're doing that.
So it's a quite in-depth level of research.
Yeah. We thought, let's look at putting things in place. So when we do get the go-ahead, we can flick the switch and away we go.
Sure, yeah. And you subcontract a lot of the work out, or you try to do it yourself, or what do you do?
That's the uniqueness of their product. I mean, it was virtually done all in-house. We employed Ryan Vanderveen. He sort of got stranded in South Australia during COVID when we locked the borders, and he ended up buying a house, and we put him on as a in-house architect.
So it worked out okay?
Oh, he worked out really well for us. And I think it's worked out really well for Ryan too. He's been able to sort of express his creative talents across the golf course and take it where it has. Him in combination with Neil Craft, our existing architect, they've done some great stuff there. So we got to the point with COVID, and he started doing some sort of minor works, doing some bunker alterations, and the committee saw what he was doing and said, "This is great." And because we'd done all that work beforehand, we're basically waiting for you to give us the go-ahead. So, and then Rob Vincekovic jumped on come in as general manager, and he was really keen and proactive about proving governance and lines of reporting, and also, we needed to invest in the golf course, and what better time is when the demand for golf in South Australia through COVID it went off the charts.
Exploded,
It went off the charts. We were lucky. We were very lucky. Shut the borders, but we had 4 days of lockdown for the whole time. It was business as normal for us. Yeah, there was a period there we had to separate the 2 teams and run with 2 teams, and to prevent sort of any potential sort of infection going through the team and that sort of. But for the most part, we had it pretty easy over there, and it was the best time to start. So, we started in November 2021, turned the first sod, and naively turned the first sod, and then really made it up as we went from there.
Yeah. And how near completion are you now? Is it open business?
18 holes open,
Yeah.
and we're working on our 19th hole at the minute.
Yeah.
So the poor old 19th, it copped a hiding for the whole time. It was in play for the whole time, but so 19's been worked on at the moment, and then come September we'll start work on the practice areas below the clubhouse, a couple of practice greens and bunkers and warm-up nets that need to be installed and that sort of thing. So it's our club centenary next year, 27. So the club's got we'll probably put a pause, I suppose, on any construction works. And then maybe in 28 we might be looking at driving range, maybe our maintenance facility. It's sort of...
So it doesn't sound like it's got a finish date. You're just going to sort of keep going?
We'll keep chipping away, keep going, I think, because we've got so much to do. Because of what our history, Glenelg has sort of been opportunistic, and whenever it can do works. We've always probably been a bit of a battler in terms finance-wise compared to the other Group 1 clubs. So now we're riding this wave. I mean, like I said, we've got a 10, 12-plus year wait list. So
that's great.
We're in the best financial position we've probably ever been in terms of prospective income with membership numbers.
Just want to ask a question. I obviously keep an eye on a lot of media within our industry, and I do notice you're quite prominent with media. You always seem to, in a good way, I'm saying, you take opportunity and you share your experience and you share what you've learned over a very long career. And I do see a lot of stuff about your work within your team and how you build team, and we've spoken about it a little bit before, but what is your strategy now? You've got quite a big team at Glenelg now, relatively speaking to other golf courses around the place. And what's your philosophy on teamwork and ensuring, everyone's singing from the same hymn book and wanting to get the work done when you've got such a big project like you've just gone through?
Yeah, it's a good point because we touched on it before. It's like I probably haven't had the benefit of, in my career, coming up through bigger clubs and having mentorships from big name club superintendents and experience and whatever. I've had to sort of almost learn it as I go. So a lot of reading and a lot of listening and a lot of talking to different people within the industry. But I think for me, it's just have set your standards and then just have that sort of single focus accountability. I mean, this is as long as everyone's on the same page, and this is the standards that we're pushing, and you just do it in an empathetic, compassionate way that you're not having cracks at people. You're actually trying to make them better.
Yep.
And you start the conversation by framing that is that feedback's a gift. Do it in the right way, and all we're trying to do is make you better, because we make you better. Ultimately, we get a better result out on the golf course. So you're only as good as your weakest link. And look, it's never going to be perfect, and you've just got to put the acid on those weakest links, and if they want to respond, they will, and if they don't, well, maybe it's not for them.
Yeah, sure.
So, but as long as you're clear and there's no ambiguity, and you're straight down the line with people in that compassionate way that they know what the standards are and what's expected. I mean that's probably my ethos in terms of, and then trying to develop that team culture. Celebrate your successes. You learn from your failures. You move on. You don't dwell on it. You try and grow. And a lot of these sort of conferences, especially your first day of your conference, you get a lot of the same thing each year drummed into you, and we just try and practice what we preach.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, it's some great advice and some great lessons in there, and you've been very generous with your time with us this morning. You're a man in demand at these shows. There's a lot of people walking past, giving you the nod and giving you the wave.
Giving me the wave sort of thing. They reckon I'm constantly on Media Street, which is probably true because people drag me in.
No, it's good. You obviously, people want to talk to you. There's a reason for that, and it's for a wonderful career that you've built in the turf industry. And I just want to finish with one question, and I'll let you get back to getting heckled by everyone that's walking past. But what's sort of what's the future hold for you? Do you think the next sort of 3 to 5 years, both in work and outside of work as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. quite happy at Glenelg, and there's so much more that we need to do and we need to finish there. In terms of, like I touched on, I've got some good people within my team, and I want to see them develop. And I probably want to now, after I think 8 years at Glenelg and 30 odd years in the industry, I'm probably in a position now, turn 50 at the end of next month, and I'm probably in a position now to sort of step back a little bit and maybe more concentrate on the bigger strategy sort of issues that we've got to deal with at Glenelg. And it's fairly timely. We've just gone through a strategic planning, and that was released this week with our AGM, where we've done strategic planning with GBAS, and we've got some real definite goals that we want to try and meet, special infrastructure-wise. So maybe me stepping back and giving more responsibility for the people below me and get them to drive the standards and the culture, and let me sort of.
Seems like quite a natural progression.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I don't think the body will hang out too.
That's the other thing, isn't it?
The body's not getting any younger. So, but I think that's probably what it is, and just continue to see. I think with all the work that we've done, we've set some really solid foundations at Glenelg. I feel that we're at the precipice of taking it to the next level too. So, whether we can keep the standard there and keep our rankings and that sort of thing. I mean, like I said, they're subjective, and that's something that the club has always sort of kept their key eye on. But so no, that's probably what the next few years
I've been fortunate enough to go there, and it's a beautiful golf course.
Yeah, thanks.
You guys do a wonderful job. And just finish off outside of work. What's your life look like at the moment?
Trying to play a little bit more golf.
Yeah, great.
Trying to keep a track on my children now that Kate and I are now empty nesters now. With both the kids interstate. Sophie's qualified greenkeeper at Kingston Heath.
Oh, is she?
And she's been there since the start of the year, working with the guys there, Hayden and his team there. So that's exciting for her. She did her trade at Glenelg, and I think it was time for us to be separated.
How did the dad-daughter relationship go?
Yeah, we get some. We weren't afraid to give each other solid feedback, and like I said, so feedback's a gift. But if it wasn't a gift, I was going to prepare to keep taking from Sophie each night. So. Yeah, so she's over in Melbourne. She's looking forward to Kingston Heath hosting the Open at the end of the year, and President's Cup in 28. And then the young fella James, he's actually in the grass growing game as well. He's up with HD Turf up at Yalka, helping the guys look after the autonomous tractors and the pivots and that sort of thing. So he's something I'd never thought he'd do, but he's enjoying it and enjoying working for Hamish and Gavin. So
Well, your working your career has obviously had a massive impact on them to follow in a similar vein.
That's right, and my wife doesn't want to talk about grass at all, sort of thing. So,
your home life sounds like mine sometimes too. It's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
But mate, it's a great story, and I really like how you get out and share your story with a lot of other people. I think there's some people with some great knowledge that don't project that on the younger generation, and you clearly do that, and it's a wonderful story, and really lucky to be able to sit down and talk to you about it this morning.
No, pleasure.
Right, thanks,
Joe.
Cheers.
Thanks, mate.